Thank you so much for joining the Humanitarian Heartbeat podcast. I have this phenomenal, beautiful, as you can see, guest, Dr. Deborah Olusa, and I'm going to read her biography. But as I read it, let it sink in because it's powerful. I need to find my glasses somewhere because I've never seen the bio like this before. So as I read, take it in, listen, and look at her fabulousness because she is fabulous. Okay. Dr. Deborah Olusa, Group CEO of Realcom Group Holdings Corporation, is a seasoned entrepreneur, organizational and educational leader with a passion for advancing international business strategy, surveillance, global partnerships, health and wellness, and education. Toward that end, Dr. Olusa was recognized during the 70th International Human Rights Day conference by the International Human Rights Commission, woo, RFT, as a top 100 human rights defender at the United Nations. Notably, she has served as a speaker for several high-level United Nations panels and is recognized for providing impactful and practical speeches that provide audiences with immediate and actionable steps toward achieving their fullest potential in the areas of economic development, big data, breast cancer, and women empowerment. Y'all, this is not it. We got to keep going. Presently, Dr. Olusa serves as an advisor and policymaker for several governments and nonprofits, where she is ushering in a new mission and vision that aligns with the impact and interrelationship of underlying health issues and the impact on marginalized urban communities, food insecurity solutions, international partnerships, innovative business strategy, as well as health education across underserved, marginalized global communities. Notably, she is recognized for her broad reaching expertise in leveraging a project management approach while cultivating future leaders to provide sustainable and innovative organizations and government policy and practices. And we're not done, y'all. Keep listening. Write it down. Additionally, Dr. Olusa is featured in the inaugural blog of ECOG ACRIN Cancer Research Group, a highly regarded 12,000 network of top, okay, global cancer researchers. Dr. Olusa shares her vivid account of being a child caregiver to her mother who lost her battle with breast cancer, being a child caregiver to her sibling, father, as well as herself. By doing so, she sheds light on a largely invisible population in the cancer support and consulting services journey. Toward that end, she is publishing, I told y'all to write this down. She is publishing a children's book, Fall 2024. It's coming up, y'all. Equally, she serves on the Drexel University Community Wellness Hub Advisory Board of Directors as they design their community informed cancer initiative and prestigious the Middle East International School, Qatar. Y'all heard me. She holds a doctorate in educational and organizational leadership from the University of Pennsylvania, a master's degree in educational administration and supervision from Cheney University, where she studied abroad at Cambridge University in Cambridge, England, and a BA in elementary education and psychology from Rowan University. There's nothing else to talk about. So the first question is, how do you sleep?
Hi. I'm just Debbie. How about that? I'm just Debbie. I'm just Debbie. I just happen to become Dr. Debbie. Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
And to your question, because I'm not avoiding it, I know that can be a bit overwhelming, but that's my truth and my story, right? So to your question, how did you do all that? Because I just thought I could. Because I just bumped my head repeatedly and said, what if?
And you did it.
Yes, it was always, well, what if I, and then I get busy, and I just get busy doing things. Now, my journey to the United Nations, though, was because of a relationship. I got a phone call inviting me to an inauguration. And then we proceeded two rows from the front.
Huh?
And they made this grand announcement that everyone should move, right, to the back because there were dignitaries coming. So I got up, I ran. My friend said, "Where are you going?" She said, "Oh, no, no, no. We're moving over 2 seats to the left." That's why I looked. I said, "Okay, we're moving to." So in comes the procession of United Nations dignitaries and diplomats. And so who did I end up sitting next to?
Oh,
And there my story begins. How I began the journey throughout the United Nations speaking circuit.
and I know everybody wondering, who did you sit next to?
A diplomat.
That is phenomenal.
Diplomat who just never stopped asking questions and chatting, and then said, I said, "Well, do you have a business card?" And the person said, "No, but just give me your cell phone." Whizzed away, locked me in his number into my phone, whizzed over to WhatsApp, locked me in over there, and the journey just began. I met someone else, and we just got chatting, and I made great friends that I still have today, and I am forever grateful.
That is a blessing.
It was God. Because as we continue to have this conversation, I'll give you the backstory on my humble beginning.
Absolutely, absolutely. So my first question that I'm asking all guests is, who do you say you are? I know you just said you're just Debbie, but do you have anything else to add to that? Who do you say you are?
At heart, I'm still Debbie. I'm still that little brown baby that dares to still dream, right? My dreams have not come to a shattering end. I feel like I have yet to start going. whether most would argue, isn't it time for you to slow down at this point? It's like, oh no, because what if? I'm in a chronic state of what if. That's how I live, right? So there's always something just ahead that I just need to get done, personally, professionally, right? And in the middle, I'm smiling and having fun.
That's most important. I love that. You can teach us all in the middle of it. Have fun.
In the middle of all of it, have fun. Find joy in all that you do in all ways, intentionally. Yeah.
That's a sermon right there.
Right.
Can you tell us about your experience as a speaker for high-level United Nations panels and how it has impacted your work in economic development, big data, breast cancer, and women empowerment?
And so I was fortunate, as we talked about just a little bit ago, of being asked to speak on a lot of United Nations panels, from the African Union to within the United Nations itself to, I won't go into different embassies, and then the really big moment, right? The really big drop mic moment was when I was asked to speak on a panel for the African and Caribbean Stock Exchange.
Wow.
That convened. And so at that, I was meeting people all along. I was meeting people, being asked different meetings, being asked my opinion. Someone asked me to write a speech for them. Yeah, so it really blossomed, right? So it was like, it was like all of what was poured into me as a child in poverty. Like, it started with letter writing at age 8. So I had to write a letter every week to my grandmother in Tennessee. Yeah. And then my dad said, "Oh, no, you're not writing enough. It should be a page." Oh. So I'm writing a page this grandma. I'm 8. But what did he do? Transfer that to my now, right? Yeah. So now I'm writing for others, right? Wow. I'm writing speeches for others, and then they say, "Well, how much should I pay you?" They call it 9, and I have something for them by 11, and they're totally, "What? How much do I owe you?" I threw a number out that was so crazy. Okay.
Wow.
So I'm saying that to say, along your journey, don't look at what's happening to you as punishment. Look at it as preparation.
Wow.
Because my daddy started me with this whole writing thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I hadn't been challenged so early to write, and then he added, and then write your great grandmother. Why would you write your grandmother and not your great grandmother? That was so funny, right? He said, but you don't have to write your great grandmother as much. You don't have to write her a page, but
right.
you write her something, right? I was like, but now look at what I'm doing, right? Yeah. So then I transcend poverty, right? And now I'm writing at the Ivy League level and earning a doctorate at the University of Pennsylvania, right?
Amazing.
200-page dissertation, right?
Yes.
To earn my doctorate. So I just say, again, as a gentle footnote to others, wherever you are in your journey or your station in life, please look through the lens of there's something I need for where I'm going.
Wow. Did you ever feel that I should not be here? You said you come from a place of poverty and you're now in United Nations. Did you feel like I shouldn't be here? Or were you like, oh yeah, this is what I'm supposed to be doing?
So I'll go back to my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
So there were Easter pieces. Every holiday was the Easter piece or the Christmas piece. And so my mom was the wonderful person who gave out the assignments. So I kept noticing that my Easter pieces like never ended. Right? Like I'm up there almost like it's a dissertation for a kid, right? And then other kids got up and said, Jesus wept, the whole church got up, they're on their feet, they're clapping. I'm up there, da 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 da. By the time I get done, they're almost asleep, right? So that was my public speaking experience. My dad's advice: don't ever look at anybody in the audience. Look straight in the back of the clock. If you think you're going to be scared, just know I'm in the clock. You're looking at my face. Wow. Nobody's there. Nobody matters. Guess what? I belong in every room.
So you have always been poured into.
Yeah, and living in poverty. So I'm from Camden, New Jersey, which is federally recognized as having the highest levels of poverty and crime repeatedly. It's not uncommon for us to be on the high poverty list again, right? But there we were. My dad went to work every day, but we were a part of that working poverty group, right? But these were the messages that were poured into me. And so I can go easily from the bottom to the top, right?
Right.
I walk right in. I have no problem with where I am. Both my parents kept things really simple, right? So, if you do bite-sized thinking, think of it as bite-sized thinking, right? So bite-sized thinking looks like this. You're walking into a room. We agree we're walking into this room, right? Yeah, we're walking in. Got it. We're in. There's people in the room. We agree that there's people?
Yeah.
There's people in the room. Got it. And so all these people have voices. Yep. Do you have a voice though, Debbie? Yes, I have. Okay, great. You keep that voice. Now, you're all going to either stand together or sit together and possibly interchange. Can we do that and agree in that room? What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. So why don't you belong there?
Don't have an answer.
Right. So that means you belong.
Right.
And so my mom's speech was, ain't nobody better than you. And you ain't better than nobody. Ain't nobody better than you. You ain't better than nobody. So if I ever have a short affirmation, there you go. Right there. When it's given to you these bite-sized, you see these bite-sized moments, bite-sized teachable moments. There's no room that you can't walk into. There's no one you can't talk to. And then they were very different for that age. They took my sister and I like everywhere. So when my mom was doing fundraising for her nonprofit when I was little, she took me with her. And she went from the corner store to the politician, and she negotiated and always walked away with a check or an in-kind gift. And there's me sitting just watching. This little one, just looking up at this 6'3" woman, gorgeous, looking up, listening, going, So it got so good, I go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. She's getting ready to hit him up this way. And then I smile, like, here she goes.
I love it. I love it.
So by 9, solidly by 10, I had to, I'll call it. So when you put all these bite-sized little teachable moments, they really weren't treating me like I was this really little kid.
Right.
Not really. I didn't get the whole, you're 8, you're this kid, get these Barbie dolls, get this. I didn't get that. I got life.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And it wasn't that I was beat into it, like smacked in the wall, threw it down the steps to it.
Right.
It was just these conversations that they would have with me. And I would be looking up at these two giants because my dad was 6'6", my mom again 6'3", and I always, here's me. You know. So yeah, I belonged in every room. I still do.
Absolutely.
Right? And I go in with comfort. And I've been told that I have confidence.
Yeah.
Because of that. And it's not a come in the room, I need to be heard, I need to be seen, I need validation. No, I come in the room quiet.
You do, but you exude this peaceful confidence. It's not, I know that before I ask you anything, you know what you're talking about. It's a gentle giant. I don't know. The first time I met you, I recognized you. I mean, there's a lot of people in the room, but something about you was like, who is she? And you're just, you're just standing there, you're smiling. You have this like beautiful smile on your face. You're observing. And then I think Dr. Mo went up to, I don't know, or Miss Robin, and you just went to Bob, but it was just like, I got it. You only have to tell me once. And I got it. So I agree. It's this, but it's peaceful. It's not scary. It's not debilitating. It's just like, I want to talk to her. I want to know her story. Who is she?
Yes. Well, you read about me on paper, but I'm real, right? And I really genuinely, what you engage is what they engage, right? So I'm not shifting, right? And when I go to the bottom, right, my bottom, because I understand that bottom, I live that bottom, right? I know how to touch my babies at the bottom, okay? Because I'm them too, right? So the larger picture is, how do we move in terms of people that live in poverty, who are facing medical challenges, who need supports? How do we move them from the poverty thinking of the doctor said, and then they're limited in their processing of what is happening to them? Like, how do we empower them as women and families so that they have a better understanding and access to healthcare? Because there's a major gap, right, between what they're actually getting in terms of treatment and services and what is available to them, and helping them understand in ways that they can understand.
Right.
And that might be they have to bring someone with them because they're a patient at that point, and their job is really to be busy fighting cancer, right? And that's a full-time job. So hearing all these other things that need to be done, going and navigating all the medical necessities that go along with being this kind of ill, yeah. So I'm a huge advocate. That's why you saw breast cancer. So just to add a period to the question around the United Nations, I met a lot of different people. And one in particular just found me hilarious. And he became my mentor, right? He became my mentor. And I'm here because of him. He unfortunately was one of the first wave, is what I call it, that fell victim to COVID.
Okay, sorry to hear that.
And I called, thank you so much. I miss him even today. I mean, but he called me 3 days before. He was a picture of health. And then after that, just that quickly, he was gone. He was out at Home Depot. He said, "Dee, I'm in Home Depot." I said, And with a mask, I'm sure. Absolutely not. I took my herbs today. I've got work to do at home. I said, "Okay, Mr. Herbs." I said, never dreaming that would be the last time, right? Yeah. But he knew, I guess, that he was leaving, and him and his wife sent someone to me to keep me moving.
Wow. That's a blessing.
That's God.
Absolutely.
How many people get that kind of mentoring? How many people? Not many. And so it's been those angels that have been just mysteriously dropped into my life to carry this what if baby along her little journey. As I continue to say, what if? What if, right? So, yes, I'm still dreaming big, right? I'm not letting go of my smile. I'm going to continue to execute. I'm super, super excited around what I'm doing with the book. My goal is sometime in the fall. I'm finalizing now. And yeah, so to put a frame around that, it's centered on my lived experience, having been, as you mentioned in my bio, a caregiver for a mother that had breast cancer who received marginal health care in a clinic that didn't have the necessary technology or anything to make her even comfortable, right? It wasn't a priority for them. She was just another um, Black woman who had breast cancer. And so they were a young couple, married couple, and they, like most in our community, they just follow the rules. They listen exactly to what is being said to them, and they don't challenge or question anything. She passed away at 32. I was 11, and my sister was 9. And so my book is a shadow of that experience. But the bigger issue is I want to create this awareness, right? That we are, and I say we are because they still exist.
Correct.
So looking at the data, the American Psychological Association did a study in 2005, and they owned 1.4 million, right? 1.4 million child caregivers. Now, child caregivers typically aren't recognized until their teen years, 12 and up.
Okay.
I'm arguing that there's a much larger base of child caregivers, right? And those start as early as 5. Right?
Wow.
They go all the way to 18, right? And then I want to explore, and because I'll do a series, like now I have a series in my head.
What if?
What if? What if? Okay. And I have this series, and so I start here telling the journey. I provide solutions. I create the awareness because it is. I'll give you a glimpse to my thinking, right? Just a glimpse. I argue that the sociology term poverty in place, right? That's to say that you are in poverty, it's cyclical, you're not getting out because it's just that ravaging, right? Very few families actually get out of that cycle, right? So I'm arguing that there's a new population that needs to be studied, right? And so that new population is my population. And I give it the term child caregiver in place.
Wow.
Because we get no days off. There is no respite for us. There are no vacations coming. You're not getting the consulting services that an adult would get, right? So if you look at what caregivers get as adults, oh my goodness, it's everything from, my mental support, mental health support, to actually built-in respites where people actually come into the home and allow them to have some form of respite. See, a child caregiver is invisible. They're not recognized by the federal government. They're not recognized by the patient navigators. We are invisible still. So there goes my book. So then I turn the lens around again, right? And I asked the question around wellness. What does wellness look like for a child caregiver in place?
Yeah.
I'm beginning this conversation with this children's book. It's a beginning.
That's amazing.
It is a lot to unpack along the way, right? And so we're going to begin there.
That is phenomenal. My first question in this is, do you remember the moment you were told that your mother had breast cancer, and what was that like for you?
And so it was a very, like, we always had dinner together. Daddy would come home, we'd have dinner. So there we are at the dinner table, and Daddy says, Mommy has breast cancer. So my sister and I, we look over at him, and we both said, Mommy has breast cancer. He looked at my sister, she said it too. He said, nothing after that. Mommy is sick, Mommy has breast cancer. That's it. That's what we got.
Okay.
There was no explanation of what breast cancer was, what we could expect, how life would be different, right? And it continued that way. We just didn't discuss it.
Okay.
Like we mostly don't do in our community, right?
You're not wrong.
We don't discuss illness in our community, in our immediate families, in our family reunions, between just one house to another house. No. So the only person that knew my mother had cancer was my grandmother here, and then I think my grandmother in Tennessee knew. A couple people at church, and I guess over time they began to whisper,
Okay.
because at church, because she looked so great, dying every day.
Wow.
She had a rare form of cancer. He came home maybe a year and a half later, and he said that the doctor had pulled him aside and said that don't be fooled by the way she looks. She's a very sick woman.
Wow.
Her hair will never fall out. Her skin will stay as it is right now, glowing.
Right.
He said, but she's dying every day.
Wow.
Yeah. And so from that point on, when her lungs began to metastasize. So now you're a year and a half in, and her lungs started to metastasize to her lungs. And I remember she had to go back and get her lungs, they said drained. That was the word they said to us. And then, so that was like maybe November-ish.
Okay.
And by March 23rd, then she was gone. Because the metastasizing was increasing, and her lungs were just filling up much faster than her body could process.
That is a lot for you to do. I mean, and at that moment, so your father said Mommy has breast cancer. Did you go right into child caregiver mode? And then once she passed, what do you do now?
So that's the interesting part, right? So I do a really intentional, like purposeful, and I thought deeply in this book, like how to package that for kids.
Okay.
I can't package this in a way that is beautiful, because if someone is in this position like me and it's warm and fuzzy and fluff, it's like, man, you're not talking about us.
Correct.
It's got to be real, but it has to be real in a sensitive way, right? So I approach it from how my life with my mom remained, but I do a good job, right? And a very, very, like I can't say enough, intentional job of capturing, right? Because I don't want to disrespect, and it would be complete disrespect for these children that need this support and guidance. At painting the picture of the impact of breast cancer on a child caregiver, what does that look like? And then I'm going to give that what support should look like piece, right? So that conversations can be had, right? Not just at the school level, right? Because our school didn't do that, right? Nobody stopped to recognize. My fifth grade teacher did come and sit on my step at my house. Miss Pickett came and sat on my step.
She did.
Yes, she did. She sat right on my step.
Oh.
My mommy, and all these people were coming, and I just nothing mattered because Miss Pickett came and sat on my step with me.
Beautiful.
Yes, the power of a teacher, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So to your point about what do you do? Yes, I went into caregiving, but without giving too much of the book away, it's the way I went into caregiving that has me in the now that I'm in. right? So I want to, as much as possible, share my story because I'm noticing people are talking about caregivers, child caregivers, quite a bit, but I've yet to see someone capture it.
Correct.
The way that I've lived it, right? The way that and how I get from poverty, right, in a federally recognized city, repeatedly, right? Highest level of poverty and crime. Here's Debbie. Hey, how you?
Yeah. Oh, you're from there?
I've had people ask me, "Are you sure?"
Are you sure?
Are you sure?
What do you say to that? Yes, I'm sure.
Yes, I'm sure. Or I promise. I promise.
I like that. I promise. Wow. I mean, and you give hope. You give hope. Oh, I mean, and to go back to, you mentioned poverty. How do you believe underlying health issues impact marginalized urban communities? And what solutions do you propose? I mean,
so our diet is certainly one of them, a major underlying factor that contributes to, heart disease, high blood pressure, asthma, and has some implications with regard to breast cancer. There's been studies that link obesity and just uh, high fat levels with, unfortunately, cancer. So it is my hope in my station in life to really focus on my invisible population. I want them front and center. I want them to receive the federal dollars, the federal research. I want them to receive everything that adults are getting, but I want that to happen at the child level. And so I'll be partnering, across sectors, if you will, asking for friends, right, to spread this message and have a unilateral message that's spread throughout, intentionally again, right, and strategically, so that we're getting help to these invisible babies. And I'll call all of them babies up to 17. And then also there's a much larger issue, right? And that is what happens when everyone goes away. So when the picture isn't beautiful and the treatments don't work and the child has made so many promises by everyone, oh, I'm going to do this. You'll see us this. You'll never be alone. You sure?
wow.
So when all the curtains close, when the dirt's on the casket, and that family goes home to that quiet house, who was there to support that child caregiver? It's that child caregiver, because there may be more than one in a household, but there's a primary child caregiver that's managing that house.
You're right.
Who supports that child caregiver and all the rest?
Wow. You're absolutely right.
There's nothing in place for them. Yeah. And so I want to create, I told you it's a series.
I mean, but it's needed.
I'm sorry?
It's needed.
Yes. And I want to push into these communities that they don't want to go to. Nobody's trying to, who's running to poverty?
No, running the other way.
They're running the other way. And I argue, no, let's push in here. And this is what it can look like. And this is why it can be successful. You remember this. Takes one to know one. Yes. Takes one to tell one. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Like I said in the very beginning, I go from the bottom to the top.
And do it well. I mean,
and have fun. I think a part of it is, most people spend their whole lives trying to hide, and trying to distance themselves from that.
Right.
No, I'm very comfortable.
Which is beautiful.
I'm so comfortable, right?
Yes, but
Yeah.
I feel like the question that everybody's thinking, or maybe I'm just thinking, how do you go from in poverty, Camden,
Yeah.
and lose your mother, breast cancer at 32 years old, and being the child caregiver, and you United Nations and Qatar, how? For the little girl that's watching, and I'm in Camden right now, I'm in West Philadelphia right now, I'm in Inglewood right now. How?
Because it's all in your mind.
Mm.
You can go as fast and as far as you want to if you think you can.
Mm.
Nobody's going to walk up and say, here. Right? No one will say that to you. It has to be something that you feel you're capable of and deserving of. So, yes, I deserve. Yes, I'm capable. Yes, this is what I want. First, it starts with you.
That's
So,
amazing.
the short version is if you want to really in and then out, right? Who plays the tapes in your head?
Mm. You do.
I think I'm positive, right?
Yes.
Right. So my mind was built. I was built. That's how you can think about it, right? I was built by these two parents that lived in poverty, who just happened to just keep challenging me and pushing that needle and telling me this is my Debbie, she's smart. This is my Debbie, she's on the honor roll. Then my grandmother in Tennessee, we would go every summer, and then she'd, take me up and down and after every. This is my Debbie. Yeah, this is the one. The one that's on the honor roll. Yeah, the one that won the award from the newspaper for her writing. My Debbie. The one that the one that got accepted. This is my Debbie. I mean, when you get this your whole life, everybody. My grandmother here. I go into the hairdresser. Hi, Debbie. Wow, you're doing great. Your grandma comes. My grandma went every Wednesday to get her hair done. They do everything. I was shocked walking in, that she had just moved. So I had these like grandmothers, one down south, one up here. And then I had my dad and, I had, great cousins. And I have an aunt really special to me, my Aunt Esther, who really kept me honest. If I wanted to be goofy, she could bring me back. Still does. But so I had that support in that way. My mother's family just really stepped up in a lot of different ways, and my dad's family from Tennessee, as you can hear. Shout out to my Uncle Terry, big hugs and kisses to heaven, to my Mama Jenny and my Nana. And so I carry that very much in my heart. And so those are my tapes. So how do you walk into these rooms? How do you talk to these people? When you're seated and you go to a restaurant, you've been invited to, they've shut the restaurant down because the president's coming from a country and their national ambassador is there. And you come in and you're seated next to the national ambassador. That's your seat. That's your seat for the evening, right? So you sit down, and you can do that. You can be that girl.
Yes.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can be that girl for the evening.
I love it.
And you can just chat your little heart out.
And I know you did. You're just so. This is what I know people are going to see. You're just so peaceful and so just, and it's pure.
and guess what? I'm having fun. So I'm going to take what should be a complete lifelong tragedy, because we really statistically, my sister and I should be statistics, right?
Sure.
We should be like glow in the dark, like Stevie Wonder can see statistics. No, seriously.
Right.
No, seriously. We really did everything with a perfect storm for a statistic. I didn't have my first child till 27 and I was married, right? My sister's still married, and we're thriving. We're both doing really well, and it's not supposed to be.
We broke the cycle.
We broke the cycle. We broke that cycle. And so how do you learn how to just flow? Well, you remember I said they took us everywhere. So she only lived till I was 11, but they took us as a couple everywhere, from funerals to political events to all these things. And then here's me
looking at
and she's hitting up the politicians. She wants a donation for her nonprofit, where they actually have an event and everyone comes in, how they work the room, and I watch. Who knew?
God knew.
Who knew? So you're not scared. Because remember, go back to those bite-sized teachable moments. Don't forget the bite-sized teachable moments. There's also, and this is the last glimpse I'll give around being prepared. So she prepared us during her breast cancer treatment journey. Myself more than my sister, because I was the oldest. And so there's a huge piece there on parenting. She totally challenges every theory with regard to parenting. The way she built me in those 2 years, right? That's a book by itself.
Right? It's a movie.
It is a movie. And I am super, super hoping that it does get on the big screen, because it is very much deserving. It is, because it's not supposed to be, right? I happened to be in Camden, but made great friends. I didn't have to fight. I didn't have to run. I didn't have any problems, because it was Debbie. It was that's Deb. We were what'd he say? What'd she say? That's Deb.
Yeah.
And they just go ahead, Deb. Go ahead and get the page. Shut up. Where's your report card? Shut up.
I know that's right.
and they just cleared a path for me. Cleared a path for me. So people think of poverty, they think of violence. Yeah, we were the most violent city. I got it. But let me tell you about this love that passes all understanding, that does exist, that has existed in Camden. And even now there's a love, just like I'm talking about. And that love has sustained me. That love from Camden has carried me. That love from Camden has validated me. And I'm here to reach back to tell every last one of them babies that's there and around the world and around the country. If you can dream it, you can do it. If you can think it and say it, you can do it. There's no room, big, wide, small, high, that you don't belong in. The only room you don't belong in is the room that you decide that you don't. So that means you belong in every room. So you're busy getting dressed and getting there, wherever that room may be. It's not, because I got this a lot. So Debbie, well, that's Debbie. Her and her sister, they act white, but they're really nice. So they talk white, but they're really nice. Don't bother them. They're nice. That's Deb. She's real nice. She just talks white. Leave her alone. Real talk.
Right. You being real. Yeah.
So I already had a distinction without even working. It wasn't acceptable to speak, just my daddy, nobody was having it. It just wasn't tolerated, right? So we really I was raised, a large part of it was in that 2 years, and they were raising me along the way with those Easter pieces. They were killing me. She was killing me.
They prepared you for the UN in Qatar. It's okay.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So now, because of my relationships, Someone called and asked me to join their board of trustees at the prestigious Middle East. Yeah, Middle East. It's I can't make it up.
You are, everything that you've been saying from the beginning is a mic drop, because I honestly envision not only people hearing but seeing. They're gonna be like, Camden, New Jersey, kind of like what you said. Are you sure?
I'm so sure.
And not only have you, it's a movie. It's your children's series. It's a movie. It's a Broadway show. It's everything, because you have just the bite size, the what if, you have just dropped so many nuggets that not only are going to save lives, but just empower from the business to the floor, from the hood to the Capitol, from the this to the that. And I love how you said, let me tell y'all something. Yes, Camden may have something, but let me tell you what they do have and that you don't know about.
Exactly. I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you. I'm here to tell you. I'm proof positive of it. And I'm still in touch with people till today. If I see people, I'm not that one that's trying to like not see them. And
yeah.
No. My arms are open. I am smiling, and I am genuinely happy to see them. As they are me. I'm trying to tell you. Because I am them, they are me.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's what people forget.
Well, they're busy trying to hide. They spend most of their life trying to hide that they're from where they're from. Where I just straight out, before you do your discovery on me, because a lot, your background check on me, right? Then I'm just going to be really upfront. How about you deal with it? Because it's not my problem.
Mm-hmm. Y'all hear this? Another gem. If somebody else deal with it. Dr. Debbie! And y'all see, she's having fun. You are, there's no one like you. Like, you know how people say you're one in a million? No, you're just it. There's no one like you.
I'm just like, at this point, what you gonna do? Now, I can be like for you, and I think it's really important on this podcast just to be like Debbie. Yeah. You don't need the Dr. Debbie, the academia. You don't need that academic, right? You don't need me to spout out all the statistics and like I'm doing a PowerPoint, because this is a very heartfelt topic.
Yes.
And I'm treading on a lot of new ground and thinking, right? I'm shifting paradigm thinking. I'm challenging us as a community in my book to consider clinical trials. Shout out to Robin Evans, another beautiful, lovely mentor.
Amazing.
Isn't she amazing? Another angel that dropped into my life. I started volunteering, right? Out of volunteering, I met Robin Evans, and we have been together ever since. We both were panelists and we both presented, and we have never parted ways.
I love it.
She's my accountability partner. She's my family. She just accepts me for all my quirks, her and her lovely husband, Sid. And I am forever grateful. And their son, Sid, as well, for his executive marketing consulting that he does for me. And so I'm moving forward. I'm one that never forgets. Some people tend to forget how they got where they are. I don't forget. And I don't take anything or anyone that's taken the time to pour into me lightly. Anyone that's given me an opportunity lightly. Right? And so I am forever grateful. I am hugely humble, and I hope that comes across, right? And I look forward to beginning my journey this fall. We're aiming for this fall, but if not, whenever it pops out, it pops out. It won't be like next year pop out. It shouldn't be that late, right? I'm also doing something else. When you look at the term child caregiver.
Okay.
What is your definition?
Child caregiver, a child who takes care of someone?
No. Think about it. Child caregivers are people who give care to children.
Mm.
So they're your daycare workers. You follow me? People who give child care services. They're your babysitters.
Wow, okay.
They're your nannies.
Okay.
You see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm shifting that thinking now. Because of the conversation we've had, you've already brought into my definition without recognizing it.
Yeah. You know what? If you put another mic drop one more time, you're absolutely right. Dr. Debbie from Camden. My last question to you. So in the beginning, I said, who do you say that you are? So my question is, after people see this, hear this, who will we say you are?
A little brown baby who still thinks she can.
Mm.
A little brown baby that still thinks that she can. Whatever that is. I'm still dreaming big. That's it. It's not complicated for me.
I love it. You are amazing. And lastly, where can people find you, follow you? Because we need more. Where?
You can find me on LinkedIn at Dr. Deborah Olusa. And that's spelled DEBORAH. Last name OLU as an umbrella, S as in Sam, A as in apple. And I would say that for now, that's where you can find me. I haven't really set up my public figure for what domains and different things yet. I've been really focused largely on the message and how to package it so that it's soft enough for the kids to digest and then learn. And then it was super important for me to do two things. One, meet them where they are so that my book is going to break out a pathway for an understanding of what breast cancer is, so that, to your question, what did you do after you were told your mother had breast cancer? I have all this in the book laid out.
Cannot wait. I cannot wait. The world cannot wait. And
yes,
y'all heard her. Follow her on LinkedIn, and more to come. Yes. And we just have to help Dr. Debbie with this marginalized, invisible group, and no more. Dr. Debbie is going to help us and really pour into us what's needed. And this is very important.
Yeah, there are other people who have tried, but no one's looking at it through the lens like I am. Nobody's helping in the ways that I know needs help. If that makes sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Because they haven't lived it.
Unfortunately, you have. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for joining us. You are amazing. You are beautiful. You are continually to have that what if. You're having joy through it. We are teaching ourselves. You have literally what you have gone through taught myself. You're teaching everybody else the bite-sized lessons. What if that I'm not better than anyone? No one's better than me. To have joy through it. I mean, you did a sermon today. Thank you.
And what keeps me walking through any and every door, right? So when I was over, I'm going to end on this note and you're going to holler because everybody always laughed at me and I didn't care. I'm in London. I'm in Cambridge University and I was hungry, right? Their diet is dramatically different. Guess what I was doing?
What?
I was running around Cambridge, England, Impington, England, Frumpington, England, London, England, Paris, France. I was looking for a chicken wing. I was trying to find a chicken wing. And in England, They fry the chicken, but they leave the white feathers, and they're just coming all out.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. So I thought if I kept spending and went going to like more expensive restaurants, I definitely wouldn't see any. So I'm at this one restaurant. I see all the meals come out. You know, when they take off the silver lid and all, that's how they serve you. And then they come over, you know. And I'm like, I'm gonna get this. I saw the man coming toward me. I told him, I'm gonna get this chicken. He lifted up. He lifted the lid up. Guess what I got? I got more and bigger white feathers.
Oh,
I promise you, tears literally came out of my eyes. That was $35. I promise you.
Dr. Debbie, what did you do?
I cried. I told you what I did. But eventually I figured out I had to go to a section of London called Brixton.
Okay.
Last stop on the train. That's where all the people of color live. Okay. And I came up out of the train station, and there was the bodegas, and you know, I said, oh yeah, I'm home. Here we go. I found chicken and everything else. Hairdresser, I got it all. But I said all that to say, I remain true to myself. Yeah. And that's a part of my magic, right? Yeah. I walk in these rooms. Yes, I'm professional. Yes, I'm appropriate. But at heart, I'm still that girl right now trying to find a chicken.
That should be the title. On that note, we need to go find our chicken wing. On that note, thank you so much, Dr. Debbie. God bless y'all. We'll see you on another episode of the Humanitarian Heartbeat podcast.
My pleasure. Take care. Bye-bye.